I'm parked again because my window, it wasn't going up, I swear. Now it's making me look like a liar. Don't you hate when that shit happens? I swear to God. Me, it was always technology. I could not. I hated it. It was one of my fears as a child when they had like laptops we had to take in high school. I would get so nervous because I swear it never worked. And every computer teacher I ever had was a piece of shit asshole. If if there was like a English teacher who had to have the laptops, they were always so nice to me. I have like mucus in my throat, so if I'm like talking funny, I don't have an accent. Like, I don't have any accent. I learned English from white people, and the only reason I sound weird sometimes is because I have a big lisp and because I have mucus in my throat all the time and I can't eat it. I'm trying to eat it because that's the only way sometimes. I saw another message from one of you guys. What you said was one of you asked if recovery is ever permanent. Let me just lock my doors because I am paranoid. Okay, I'm gonna tell you guys something really sketchy that happened to me a second ago, but first I want to talk about this before I start like rambling, because we all know I like to ramble. One of you guys said you wondered if I think it's possible if anybody has recovered permanently from a addiction, and I don't know if eds are under the addiction category, but I'm not sure. But it is something we're addicted to, like doing to ourselves and hurting ourselves. So I guess that's why I was asked. But I don't know about all addictions because I only if ed counts as an addiction. Oh my freaking God! Ever permanent to the point where you don't have to keep saying, you're recovering or whatever. And I think yes and no. Short answer is no. I do think there is a permanent part where like you're no longer addicted, you're fully recovered and you're restored and everything, but everybody's different. Everyone's different, and I think the majority of people struggle with it because the problem with addiction isn't the act, like yes, the substance you take and also the addiction itself is bad, but it's a lot of it is psychological. Like it's an inner problem with oneself. It's like this, you were missing so many things, whether it's from childhood or from recent trauma. Something happened where you found refuge in this substance or this sort of coping strategy, even if it was very bad for us, basically. So it really depends on the person. I think it's really unique, and this is why it's really important to know yourself. And this is why I feel like I mention it a lot about understanding why you went to addiction or why you're doing the self-sabotaging, or no matter how small or how big it is, why did you do it? Do you want to keep doing it? Once you find out the why, you can find out the how to get out of it or how to stop it, because now you know. For me, it was punishment. I grew up thinking I needed to be punished all the time, even if I didn't do anything technically wrong. So I know my why. And now I can do, like, how about telling myself I don't have to punish myself when somebody is mad at me? You know what I mean? Or when I piss somebody off, or when I make somebody uncomfortable. How do I tell? Like, I have to constantly, like, you have to like cater to yourself. That's why it's so important to know yourself. And I feel like you know yourself because you mentioned this, that you don't need recovery, and you keep getting hit up by, I don't know who it is, somebody keeps mentioning or trying to contact you to help you with recovery. I honestly wish I had that, but we all need different things, and I do see how that could be annoying. For example, I joined this specific relationship counselor years ago that helped me get through heartbreak because I tend to linger with heartbreak, and I kind of got over it pretty quickly because she did help me. She listened to me very well, and I kind of just needed somebody to listen to me. So that was 2 times that I talked to her, and it was through online, like messaging. And then I was fine. I was like, okay, I just got to get through the pain and it will ease away, and then I was fine, completely okay, completely over that person. I actually started dating again, and she will still contact me. And I kind of get a little annoyed because she was expensive. I don't know if this is your case. It is kind of frustrating for her to be like, "Hey, how's it going?" Because she was expensive. She was really good though. I do I want to reach out and talk to her about other stuff, but she specializes in like relationships. So, oh my god, I have so much mucus in my throat. Too bad she doesn't specialize in mucus removal. She'll contact me once in a while, and I just stopped responding because I didn't need relationship advice. I'm not, like, I didn't need it anymore. I think that one time, and I think you know yourself enough. If you don't need it, don't feel like you have to give them a respond even. But if you feel like you do, I would just say, hey, I'm completely good. I don't really need you to check in on me. I do appreciate it. Because chances are their intentions are not to be annoying, even if they are being annoying. Sometimes, though, when we do need support, people come about it in the worst way, so it's better to just not get it from that person. But I do feel like I have to remind myself that the counselor reaching out to me is not trying to be annoying. She's trying to check up on me. And chances are they're doing the same for you, especially if it's like an addiction program or something like that, because it's really the problem with the addiction is that triggers are anywhere, everywhere. So that's why it becomes, for a lot of people, it becomes a lifelong journey of recovery, because triggers are everywhere. And specifically how common the addiction is and how legal it is. For example, like for us that struggle with an ed, I feel like I'm sorry to say it, but it's going to be a lifelong battle unless you completely, you know, kind of heal what led you to the whole not eating. But with addiction, it can be specifically hard with legal substances because it's easier to get to, and more people like drinking. I feel like that's one of the hardest addictions to go through, because especially if you're like, of age, obviously, because you can just go buy it and no one's going to stop you. It can be hard, especially with, like, for example, I don't drink, so I've never been drunk and I never will. I just never found like never was interested in it. I don't care. I could die and not care how being drunk feels. But I, even as a person that doesn't care about that stuff at all, I feel left out. I feel like I'm missing out. I feel like I lost a lot of friends and didn't get close enough to even my siblings just because I wasn't interested and involved. So I could see why that could be a trigger for people that, had a drinking problem, and then like living their life trying to stay away from that, and then people socialize by going to clubs and like drinking or like, partying. Because if I feel that, I can only imagine how somebody like that would feel like. And with other stuff too that are legal, not like illegal, because it's like, how often are people doing crack, or whatever it is. But yeah, and then with the whole eating thing, I find it especially difficult because everybody goes out to eat. I remember when I was really sick, I isolated myself. I pretended I already, like I was going to eat somewhere else or whatever. I was so alone and I hated it because every time, dude, now every time I hang out with my mom, she'll want to order something to eat. So it's like we hang out and eat, which is the best time. When I wasn't sick, it was the best of times when we would all like order pizza and have a pizza party while we watched a cool movie or something. That was one of my happiest moments, because we all were like, pigging out and having the best time. And I didn't think, oh no, this is miserable. And now it's like a little hard, but it kind of tests me, because that's why it sucks, and that's why I feel like you have to, you know that's why a lot of people keep tabs on you, especially people that have been through it. Like, that's why I keep talking about ed. I still struggle with it, if I'm completely honest, and that's why I'm saying it's kind of a unique, it's different journey for everybody. It's hard to stop it, especially if there's something all around. But if you're not, and you're completely, within yourself, you're healed, you have to let these people know, or at least don't respond. Don't respond. You can feel annoyed because, like, you are allowed to feel whatever you feel. I feel like I don't like the idea of telling people how to feel. You know what I mean? Yes, don't make it a fact. Like, just know that. Like, for example, like if you're frustrated with this program or whoever keeps reaching out to you, what's going on? No, I'm just kidding. They're coming for you. No, I'm just kidding. I do think we lie to ourselves a lot by accident. For example, if you feel frustrated, you're allowed to be frustrated. Don't let anybody tell you like you can't be frustrated, but don't tell yourself they're doing this to annoy you just because you're frustrated. You know what I mean? Like that's what I do too. Like for example, you can even say it the other way around. Like if somebody wants to help you with something and you're like, they're so nice, they're the best thing ever, you're lying to yourself. You could be lying to yourself. Just because you feel supported, just because you feel helped, does not mean the person is going in expecting nothing from you back. Sometimes the back and forth, and sometimes people project onto us, and this gets a little complicated, but I don't think if it's like a professional program they're trying to get anything out of you unless they're trying to get money out of you. So just beware, because that can get pretty sketchy. I had my first therapist that I saw face to face that I got. She was very money hungry. I feel like that's why I went online. Let me just give a drink. You guys are on this side because you're hidden. At least I think you are. Dude, what is up? Why is there so many cars? It's not even the weekday. It's a weekend. I'm supposed to be the only one out here on the weekend. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Okay. So yeah, that's my opinion. I find, and yes, I'm projecting too, dude. I just projected onto you guys. I'm sorry. I I think that I need to remind myself constantly that just because I feel something does not make it the truth. For example, I like to believe I can read people very well, but I'm also human. So there's only so much I can assume about people that makes it real, and you have to be careful with stuff like that because, for example, if my incel coworker makes small comments that piss me off, and I think he wants me to get angry, he wants a reaction, you know what I mean? Like I'm not going to give them anything, I'm just going to completely ignore them. And I think that's what they want, but in reality they could be having their own bullshit, you know what I mean? Like it's not necessarily to annoy me. That's what I mean. Like don't let it get to you too much. Constantly remind yourself that this person is, we're all mirrors, basically. We all are seeing ourselves in other people, and sometimes that pisses off if we're not okay. And I think that's why a lot of the times insecure people like myself um are very not friendly. I think it's because you see in other people what you hate in yourself. And I'm calling myself out because I don't know, I think it's very toxic. And that's why when I see somebody, or when I'm happy with somebody, I try to think of the good and the bad so I don't get so angry. Obviously, when somebody does you wrong, it's not okay for us to try to justify it right away, but I like to assume we're not seeing the full picture when things happen, because we're really not. Just imagine, we're not in people's brains. I wish we could, because I like to understand why people do the things they do all the time. And then I get really lost in it, because it doesn't matter how much I think about it, there's never going to be an answer. So the best thing you could do is don't lie to yourself. Don't let yourself basically believe something that could change your mood completely. I need to get out of here. Sketched out. That's all I have to say about that. Oh my gosh, I'm like sketched out. I need to get out of here, but yeah, I sometimes somebody will do something that I found disrespectful, and I've been told this before, that I'm very defensive person, and that gets me defensive, because it's like, what do you mean? Do you not realize what you just did? You know what I mean? Like I had a manager who, this was back then when I was a good employee, like I didn't talk back, I was good, I was new, so I was trying to be nice to people. And especially if I saw like my managers really stressed out, I'm like, oh shit, they must be having like a terrible time since they're really stressed out. And I could tell by her face that she was stressed out. So I was trying to be nicer, and she grabbed something and threw it on my feet. Like not on my feet, by my feet, and like, put that away. just the way she did it really pissed me off. And ever since that, I just was not kind to her. I was very rude. And I feel like I told myself the story of like she doesn't respect me. You know what I mean? Like she doesn't respect me. She wouldn't have done that to like a man or like to a girl that she views as an equal. And I was so mad. It's like that's not okay. And I got so angry. And the worst part is I wasn't that mad about it at the time because it takes me a while, especially when I held her in a point where it's like she's so nice, you know. I gotta get out of here. Um Before somebody parks next to me. Dude, people are so annoying. But yeah, I but then my friend, my coworker friend, he doesn't work there anymore. He told me that was really freaking rude, and he would have said something. So that made me feel really bad, and I was just like, "Yep, I'm done being nice." And I was such an asshole to her. And I told myself this story, and I let somebody like let fuel the fire too, because sometimes we think we're doing somebody a service, trying to make them feel like validated. What is English? Dude, I made so many English grammar mistakes or language mistakes that I'll embarrass myself. Sir, can I go first? Let me go first. What are you doing? You're driving worse than me. If I'm questioning your driving skills, we have a problem, sir. I'm not a bad driver. I have no self-confidence. You know what I mean? What is this light? I never see. I'm not wearing sunscreen. Are we surprised? See, this is why I look my age. Malo, malo, malo eres. Malo, malo, malo eres. Gotta pay attention. There's just so many cars around me that I'm like, they're gonna see me and they're gonna laugh. See, I'm telling myself a story already. This is what I mean. Oh yeah, what I was gonna tell you guys before I say goodbye is I was going to Dunkin' and I saw an old coworker like from a different place that's so far away. Well, not so far away, like a 30-minute drive. 30-minute drive from this area. I saw a coworker in the Dunkin' area, like, and they had, I don't know, I looked at them and like that can't be them. When I looked at them, they looked away and drove fast. I'm paranoid. I got really paranoid. And before you say, "Oh, there's no way that was a coworker," that coworker actually followed me home once. But they didn't do it like we were friends. They just like they wanted to show me that it was easy to find where I lived, and I was just like, "No, it's not." And they're like, "Oh yeah, how come I'm like right outside your house right now?" And I was like, that freaked me out. And I didn't tell them, "Come find me." No, I just said, "You can't find my house." I guess I dared, like I kind of been like, "No, you can't." You know what I mean? That's why I got so sketched out. I'm like, how do you know where I'm at right now? And I'm like paranoid about it. I'm like, I don't want to see anybody I've ever knew before. Like, I just never want to see just new characters. You know what I mean? Like, I just don't want to see anybody because I'm not the type of person that even if we didn't have a fallout, boy, no, I'm just kidding. Even if we didn't have any falling out or bad blood between us, we just swiftly. No, I'm just kidding. Oh yeah, I'm like all over the place. I actually don't like Taylor Swift. I'm sorry to say, I'm a Taylor Swift hater. So, so if that makes you hate me, that's okay. I'll die on that hill. I do not like Taylor Swift. There's something off about her. I don't like it. And her music sucks. To me, all I hear is this little girl music. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm a hater. But anyways, yeah, I don't want to see anybody I knew because it's just awkward. I'm not the type of person to be like, "Hi, how's it going? Let's catch up." Like, no, this is just you guys know my views on small talk, right? I hate it. I freaking hate it. One time there was this coworker lady. We do like our job never closes. We don't have a closing time. We just have different shifts. So there's always somebody there. And when we have those people, like the morning people to take our spot coming in, I hated them because they always like act like we don't do shit when they're the ones who don't. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just passing on the bullshit. I hated all the morning people. And if you follow my Instagram, I talked about more about that because I don't really like, it's just an everyday thing. And there was this one lady who became my friend who was a morning shift lady. And I actually liked her because she was cool. And then I realized why. This lady did not do small talk. This lady like straight up came up to me and said, "Do you have PTSD?" And I was like, "I do now." Just kidding. I was just like, "No, why?" And she's like, "You just look like you have." Don't we all? Like, I feel like we all have it. My mom has cameras in the house, and I feel like they can see me talking to myself. But I told her I felt like I'm going crazy, just in case she catches me talking to you guys. She'd be like, "She did warn me about this." Imagine my mom isn't even real. Oh my god. Are you guys ever scared of that? Like, the people you're around never existed and you made them up in your head? Oh my freaking gosh. I did that to a friend. I told my friend that, and she like started crying. Because I made her believe that I wasn't real. I was just like, "No, I don't really exist, right? You're making me up." And I love doing that shit. Anyways, talk to you guys next time. And yes, I just admitted to gaslighting a friend. Whatever. It was a long time ago, okay? I won't do it again. I will.